Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. Okay, so we had another incident at Mar-a-Lago. The story has been developing all day. First report, there was a drone at Palm Beach International Airport, which, by the way, is being renamed Donald John Trump Airport. That's the airport, well, down the street from Mar-a-Lago, and the president always flies in and out on Air Force One, Trump Force One, and the whole thing. And the original report was there was a drone sighting near Air Force One. Fighter jets were scrambled. Military helicopters were scrambled. We've got some video of passengers locked inside of aircraft at the airport, which we'll get to, and a whole bunch more. And I'm going to play you this story from Fox News, but I'm going to tell you right out the gate, while they're telling us now, oh, it was just a private aircraft, the radio wasn't working, blah, 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 blah. I don't buy any of that, okay? The Democrats are committing nothing short of treason by messing around with airport security in the United States. You know, TSA was formed specifically to have a government agency that could protect us post 9/11 from Islamic terror attack on aircraft. And they've been gumming up the works of that while we're in a hot war with the leader of all terrorism, Iran. Iran is known for drones. The list goes on. And there have been multiple attempts on the president's life, most of them in or around Palm Beach International Airport. So this is only the latest of many incidents. There have been several incidents that have gotten no publicity. There was one, because I live close to Palm Beach Airport and Mar-a-Lago, there was one a few months ago where I was just home on the weekend with my wife, and fighter jets were scrambled, flew right over our house because I'm in the flight path from the Air Force Base to Mar-a-Lago, and that never even made the news. A couple weeks ago, that kid drove through the gate of Mar-a-Lago and was killed on the property. A few weeks back, the president's motorcade, when he was heading home like this, heading home to Washington from Mar-a-Lago, there was a suspicious device found on the road between Mar-a-Lago and the airport, and the presidential motorcade had to take a high-speed detour, twisting and turning through the streets of Palm Beach. There was that sniper's nest they found with a direct line of sight to Air Force One at Palm Beach International Airport. So don't buy any of this stuff that you're hearing. Oh, this was just some small plane. They have scrambled not just combat fighter jets, but they scrambled military helicopters. I have never seen them scramble military helicopters before. The jets I've seen many a times, not helicopters. And, of course, the helicopters are for close combat, lower things. So now, let me play from Fox, but this is very serious stuff that's going on here. So let's get to this. And this was a little while ago on Fox News.
John, good afternoon. President Trump remains at his Mar-a-Lago estate. He's due back to Washington a little bit later this evening, taking off around 6 o'clock. What happened earlier today was in the 1 o'clock hour, about 1:15, where NORAD says they dispatched F-16 fighter jets after a private aircraft entered what's considered a no-fly zone, or a TFR, temporary restrictions, near where the president was. No matter where the president goes, the FAA, the Secret Service, they create these areas where they don't want any aircraft to be in. What was more interesting in this case is NORAD says the F-16s, when they got up next to that private plane, they had to dispatch flares to get the pilot's attention. And you can imagine if you're on the ground, you would see those flares next to another.
Okay, now let me slow you down on that, all right? When those F-16s fly, responding to some type of alert at Mar-a-Lago or the airport near Mar-a-Lago, they're not just casually flying around. I mean, when they fly over the house, they shake my whole house. They fly there. Sometimes they fly supersonic because the Air Force Base, Homestead, is down in South Miami. They fly there sometimes at supersonic speed. So for some guy in a private aircraft to not notice them, that doesn't even pass the smile test. You know, having to launch flares. Are you kidding me? Oh, nothing to see here. Nothing to see. No. Yeah. They had to dispatch flares from the F-16 fighter jets. Are you kidding? Let me rewind a little bit.
It was. No matter where the president goes, the FAA and Secret Service, they create these areas where they don't want any aircraft to be in. What was more interesting in this case is NORAD says the F-16s, when they got up next to that private plane, they had to dispatch flares to get the pilot's attention. And you can imagine if you're on the ground, you would see those flares next to another aircraft. It would certainly get some attention. I haven't seen any video of that on the ground from people who may have seen it, but NORAD says if you were there and you did witness something around 1 o'clock today here in the South Florida area, that's what it was. This aircraft was quickly able to get out of the area that the restricted airspace was in. I talked to the Secret Service. They said at no point was there any threat to either the president or Air Force One. And the reason I bring that up was earlier today, if you were online, there was a video that went viral of a woman on board a Delta plane. And
I'm going to play that next.
The pilot was speaking, and the pilot had said that there had been some drones spotted near the president's plane, which is parked at Palm Beach International. That was not the case. Secret Service.
See, this is another thing. And so far as the Secret Service got Trump shot in Butler, and then a couple months later, they almost got him shot again at the golf course, okay? Come on. So, the Secret Service. The days of accepting the Secret Service as some type of, they're basically mall cops, it seems. Give me a break.
It says that was a miscommunication. There was nothing to do with drones. And instead, it was all regarding this private aircraft that temporarily got into where this restricted airspace was, where the president is. You can imagine, John, security restrictions remain tight. There's been a lot of concern about anything and everything that could be near where the president is. And we have seen these type of violations before. This is not a first time by any stretch, but flares being used to get the attention of the aircraft to get the person the heck out of there. You can only imagine what it was like for that pilot. No indication who that person was. But again, Secret Service saying there was no threat to the president's safety.
Yeah, the Secret Service that had the overweight agent that couldn't find her damn holster after they got the president shot. Oh, okay, yeah, all right. They've spoken. Nothing to see here. I don't buy that. Now, this video from the airplane. Let me pull this up. Where the woman is filming this on the airplane, and you hear the pilot talking. Let me play this, and I'll tell you why this, I believe, is the most significant as of this moment in time. This is the most significant information we have.
The Air Force One is all legal, so they're not sure what it was, but apparently there was like a drone that came in too close to proximity to the airport, and they had to scramble some helicopters to go and investigate that. In the meantime, they're basically doing what's called a ground stop to prevent any aircraft from moving, so they can deal with that. So they don't really have a time frame for us. I don't think it's going to be any more than a few minutes more. If it does get delayed any further, we'll definitely keep you guys posted. For now, that's what's going on. We do apologize for the delay. It's kind of pretty much out of our control here. So we're just going to hang tight here for a few more minutes. We'll be here for you shortly. Once again, we do appreciate you guys being patient with us. And also, I know we're stopped, and you guys, there may be people up here.
Okay, now this video that I just played, this is the most significant and I think accurate information we've gotten about this entire, another, it looks like, possible assassination attempt against the president. And by the way, I'm looking at the video. I recognize where she is. That is Palm Beach International, soon to be renamed Trump International Airport, DJT Airport. This pilot, he's not going off of what someone's posting on X. The pilot got a communication from the tower. The tower mentioned the drones to the pilot that he relayed to the people on the aircraft, okay? So the people in the tower, one, they've got eyeballs, and they also are the ones who get the reports of the people who are seeing this with their eyeballs. And so far as a private aircraft, I don't buy that at all. I'm not saying there's not a private aircraft. You know, this is Palm Beach, okay? Every other person has a private aircraft, so I expect all kinds of video and photos of a private aircraft. I'd be shocked if there weren't private aircraft flying around at that time. You know, President Trump's private aircraft fly in and out of there, okay? But the pilot is what I would consider to be, you know, as close to primary source information as you could possibly get on something like this. And the drones come from the tower. So the tower, which is the first line of reporting on something like this, the tower is where I believe you would get the most accurate information, wouldn't you? Yeah. So not some Secret Service person that can't find their holsters, okay, and have gotten him shot. And, the Secret Service has a vested interest in downplaying any attempt on the president because they've had so many screw-ups. The guy got through the perimeter and the gate. He was on Mar-a-Lago property that they shot dead, the 2 shootings and all of the others. So the Secret Service cannot be trusted with this. The Secret Service have a vested interest in discounting and downplaying anything involving a danger to the president or Air Force One. Now, when they say there was no danger to the president was at Mar-a-Lago still, Fortress Mar-a-Lago. So, of course, he was in no danger. And I'm very curious. No reporters have bothered to ask because the fake news reporters all suck. Okay, but was the president taken to a secure safe room at Mar-a-Lago? I don't know. Maybe someone might want to ask. Oh, no, the Secret Service, they got him shot. They said nothing to see here. Oh, okay. Here's some video from Palm Beach Airport where you can see the helicopters. And I have never seen nor heard of them scrambling military helicopters, ever. I didn't even know they had them there. The jets, yeah. Fighter jets, yeah. But helicopters, first time for that. See, look at that. Look at that. Now, today was a pretty rainy day in South Florida and crowded day. Cloudy day. Yeah, so there you have it. So your thoughts on this certainly are welcome. I don't trust anything that comes out of the Secret Service. They've been working so hard, the bad guys, to do something to the president. And, after the last attempt at Mar-a-Lago, where the guy got through a couple weeks ago, Eric was on television. I can't remember who interviewed him. Was it Fox? Was it Hannity? I can't remember. But after that incident a couple weeks ago, when the guy drove through the gate at Mar-a-Lago looking to get the president, drove down from North Carolina, remember? Eric Trump, he went through a whole bunch of the assassination attempts, and he says, how many times is my dad going to get lucky? Right? How many times my dad? Yeah, exactly. And, so was this an attempt? Was it a testing of the security? These incidents keep happening around Mar-a-Lago. Why? He's been a protectee of the Secret Service for like over 10 years now. And since he started running for president, since he came down the escalator, in and around Mar-a-Lago has had presidential candidate and presidential security. And it is so tight now. Those of you that have been watching me for a while may remember many times during President Trump's first term, I would go to Mar-a-Lago and I would live stream and I would make vlogs. I'd go to the airport and show you guys Air Force One. And in the second term, I've not done that. And the reason I've not done it is because the security is so tight from the airport to Mar-a-Lago and everywhere in between like I've never seen before. I don't think it's I could, right? I live here. I can go there. But I don't think it's appropriate for me to show any of the security there. So I don't do it. It is heavy, heavy, heavy. And everyone in the area knows about it. So I don't think it's a coincidence here. The Iranians, in Trump's first term, they made a music video. And it was a very highly produced music video that was blowing up Mar-a-Lago while the president was playing golf. They made another video of him playing golf at Mar-a-Lago. It was on a golf course at Mar-a-Lago, but whatever. It was a propaganda movie. They showed President Trump playing golf at Mar-a-Lago, and then they blew it up. Okay, and the Iranians are known to have drones. That's like their go-to. So no, I don't buy that there's nothing to see here. And I don't think you all do either. Well, I am obviously back from our MAGA cruise. I woke up this morning. I don't know if I could say woke up because I was up pretty much all night. Very little sleep because I wanted to get up early and get home this morning. But I am back from the MAGA cruise and live here with you. And this is my first program post-MAGA cruise. And we had a great time. And those of you who were there, oh, man, it was good to spend the week with you. This week just flew by, and this was, I got to say, this was our greatest cruise ever, and next year is even going to be better with what we got going on. So I'll talk about that more as time goes on. Okay, now I got some more information here on the helicopters. Well, let me pull this up. Boy, oh boy. Do you guys buy that there was nothing to see here? I don't think you do. So now it's being reported that the helicopters are there actually investigating the drone incident. And, when you're anywhere within the area that is under the Secret Service protection, now I've shown these signs many times on vlogs and live streams up at Mar-a-Lago. They have these signs all over the place. They're yellow and purple signs. They're huge. You can't miss them. They're everywhere. And they're signs from the Secret Service. They're like the quality of street signs. But, they're like an orange, gold, and purple color. And they have the seal of the Secret Service. And they tell you this area is under the protection of the United States Secret Service. The flying of drones is not allowed. And then they give you the statute. And those signs are everywhere. People know this. And so far as these pilots that fly into the area, you never hear the follow-up with the pilots, right? You never hear any of the follow-up with the pilots. If this was a pilot who made a mistake, and you hear this a couple times with these types of incidents and not drones, what's the follow-up with the pilot? Do they lose their license for going into such a restricted airspace? I mean, look at the trouble they cause. Look at the fear that they spread. But I still stick with I don't care what comes out moving forward. Unless I see some pilot arrested for going into restricted airspace, resulting in fighter jets being scrambled and military aircraft being scrambled and people being terrified on aircraft, I still stick with the pilot of the commercial aircraft with the passenger video. I'll play it one more time because this guy, the captain, comes on. He didn't just make this up. He's not. Oh well, okay. Let me inform my passengers what's trending on X. He gets a radio call from the tower telling him what's going on, and the tower, not only do they have eyeballs, they can see what's going on, but they also have radar, so they can detect what's going on. And if there's witnesses that are in aircraft, they're radioing the tower and telling them what's going on. So this pilot was told by the tower at Palm Beach International Airport that there were drones near Air Force One.
Air Force One is all the way up, so they're not sure what it was, but apparently there was like a drone that came in too close to proximity to the airport, and they had to scramble some helicopters to go and investigate that. Meantime, they're basically doing what's called a ground stop to prevent any aircraft movements that can deal with that. So they don't really have a time frame for us. I don't think it's going to be any more than a few minutes more. If it does get delayed any further, we'll definitely keep you guys posted. For now, that's what's going on. We do apologize for the delay. It's kind of pretty much out of our control here. So we're just going to hang tight here for a few more minutes. Hopefully we'll be here for you shortly. Once again, we do appreciate you guys being patient with us. And also, I know we're stopped, and you guys, there may be people over here.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's the latest as of this moment. And so this is a developing story, and hopefully as the next hours and by the morning, comes around, we get more information. But no, I'm going to stick with the pilot. I think the pilot to me, getting information from the tower, I think that is the information that has the least bias in it, right? You know, the Secret Service wants to tell everybody nothing to see here because they're freaking out. They have no control over the situation. They suck as protectors of the president. All right, so I want to move on to some other things. But if you'd like to call in, it's my first show back. You're welcome to do so. The toll-free number is pinned in the live stream. If you're listening live, it's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And, of course, this is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available wherever you get podcasts. Just search for the Brian Craig Show. If you want to catch the podcast in video form, where you can see the video, you can see me, and hear the live calls that I take every day, that's on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search the Brian Craig Show, and I'll pop right up. Okay, now got a big story developing here in Palm Beach County. There was a lot made of this special election with this state representative winning the state house seat where Mar-a-Lago is. And the Democrats are so desperate, not for a victory. It might seem that way. They're not desperate for a victory as much. They want victories. Good luck with that. But by the way, do you think we've won the vote of the TSA and their family, that the Democrats have been forcing to not be able to make car payments, rent payments, mortgage payments, or buy food? Right? How many TSA agents are there? And then you couple in their spouses. And the Democrats have been making them suffer while they go on vacation and stroll through the airports and avoid lines and such. I think the TSA is a new MAGA voting bloc for the midterms, Schumer. Smart thinking, stupid. But anyway, a lot has been made of this victory of this state house race. And what I did some programs from the cruise ship early last week through the middle of the week, and I talked a little bit about this. By the way, those of you that have just subscribed, welcome to the program. You'll enjoy the content here, I promise you. And we got a major update, by the way, on this election in Palm Beach County that the Democrats have been celebrating, this is what I'm talking about now. But the first thing I told you when it first happened, I said, you know, the president lives on Palm Beach Island in Palm Beach County. Palm Beach Island is where the liberal rich elite live. Now, there's a lot of good MAGA people there, right? Stallone, Dr. Oz, the president, of course, and others. But it's mostly filled with the uber rich liberals. And many times, you may have seen this on some of my videos that I've done at Mar-a-Lago, they hate us, MAGA. And I'll be out there walking down the sidewalk with my Make America Great Again hat on, and some guy in a Maserati or a Bentley will stick his finger out and say, F you, mother effer. I mean, this is a hardcore Democrat community, Palm Beach. Just because Mar-a-Lago's there doesn't mean it's red. The mayor of Palm Beach is not West Palm Beach, and it's not Palm Beach County. It's a very elite city. It's where the Kennedy compound was located and all that. And the mayor of Palm Beach wanted to do away with the Secret Service detail that had a roadblock up on the road in front of Mar-a-Lago because it was bad for traffic. I mean, they're trying, they're the ones who denied President Trump a helicopter pad at Mar-a-Lago. The Palm Beach, the city of Palm Beach government. The city of Palm Beach denied him to put up a flagpole once. I mean, so, these are some hardcore liberal jerks, okay? So when I hear that a state office is won by a Democrat, I'm not shocked by it because it's such a liberal community. Now, this story is also just developing, but it dropped today in Gateway Pundit. And it's Palm Beach County is where Palm Beach is, the island of Palm Beach, where the president, Mar-a-Lago, is located. Palm Beach County special election volunteer allegedly stole an encrypted access key and computer equipment from a voter registration terminal during a training session prior to the election. And he's been arrested. Here's his mugshot I got. So a very unusual thing to happen, right? So what was with the encryption key in the computer? And then all of a sudden, they win this special election in this district out of the blue, and everyone's like, what happened? And how did this happen? Well, I don't know. Maybe this guy has some information about it. All right, now, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our first break. My name is Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. If you're on hold, hang in there. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
What if the obstacle you were born with became the strength that defined your success? From author Shahzad Nawab comes the powerful must-read true story, Born Deaf to an MBE, available on Amazon. This is an inspiring journey of determination, entrepreneurship, and the unstoppable power of belief. Born without hearing, the author refused to accept the limits others tried to place on him. Instead, he turned adversity into motivation, building success through hard work, resilience, and an unshakable belief in his own potential. Born Deaf to an MBE is about overcoming challenges. It's also about mindset, ambition, and proving that no barrier is stronger than the human spirit. Born Deaf to an MBE is a must-read for anyone chasing a dream, building a business, or searching for the courage to keep going. Discover how one man transformed obstacles into opportunity and created awareness in a hearing world. Born Deaf to an MBE from author Shahzad Nawab is available right now on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. This book also makes a great addition to your book club. Order your copy right now.
On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. It is the Brian Craig Show where MAGA comes to talk. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Just give me a sec. I've got to turn the video off.
Okay, turn down the video. That's okay. And speak up so we can hear you better.
I'm Craig. I just want to ask you a question because it confused me a little bit, because I watched a recent upload from The View, from those women are crazy anyway, but they're complaining that Trump cancelled the Iranian deal that Obama made. But why would Obama want to give billions of dollars to Iran? They're a terrorist country.
Before you don't lose your thought, you ask a good question. Why would Obama want to give billions of dollars to a terrorist country? Well, that terrorist country right now is using some of that Obama money to kill Americans or try to kill Americans, right? We've lost some people in the war. A lot of these weapons that they have were paid for with that Obama money. Like other liberals, Obama hates America and sides with America's enemies. That's to answer your first question. Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you believe in God, but I go to church. And
of course I do.
In my prayer group, we've been praying for America and the soldiers, because these are brave people giving up their lives, not just for America, but for Australia and everybody else. I just pray no one dies. I really do.
Absolutely.
And I think...
Yeah, give me 1 second here. Let me go through all this. So you're calling from Australia.
Yeah, I watch the show all the time. I've called before.
Yeah, I remember you. Welcome to the program again. You know, this...
and you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what, Craig? The thing about Trump, he's in a really hard situation because he's been put there by the Democrats. And the Democrats made up all this trouble, and then he has to fix it all up. Mm-hmm. And I don't... You know, I'm really proud of him, and I think he's doing a great job. But it's going to be a tricky situation, this whole Iran thing. No matter how it goes, they're going to blame him for something. But I just pray and hope for your country that it works out well. I pray for everybody that it just works out well. And I don't know, Israel's overreaching a little bit with attacking some countries, possibly. I don't know. I'm not that smart to understand it all. But whatever Trump does next, I hope it's successful. And I'll let you go because you've got so many other people. But
I appreciate it.
Giving billions of dollars to a terrorist country, I mean, I might as well call up the local serial killer and give him a car and a credit card and say, yeah, go and buy all the knives you want.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's true. All right, good point, and thanks for the call from Australia. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean, what's up?
Good. Welcome back, Brian.
Yes, thank you. Good to be back.
I'm glad you had a great time. Excellent. You know, with everything that just happened over the weekend with the No Kings protest, and now we're seeing the security alert here in Mar-a-Lago, I mean, it's no surprise, really, because the emboldenment, and it just seems like when one thing, it all goes together. Everything's locked steps with each other when it comes to the Democrats and the deep state, and there's just no surprise here that this is happening. And the timing couldn't have been better for them to do that, isn't it now? Everything just...
Well, yeah, you have the No King... Yeah, I mean, is it really a coincidence? We're at war with Iran. The airports are in chaos because the Democrats, with what they've done with TSA. We had the No Kings protest yesterday where they're just saying terrible, inappropriate things about the president. And then we get a report from the tower, the air traffic controllers at the airport near Mar-a-Lago, that there's drones near Air Force One. No, it's not a coincidence. It's all connected.
Not at all. Yeah, and it's just going to continue. I mean, every step that they go.
For all I know, the Democrats have purposely been weakening airport security.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about it, look what happens. You know, remember the Cloward and Piven strategy, right? Overwhelm the system till it collapses, and then they give us exactly what we want. They're trying to collapse airport security.
Yeah, they're trying to use their tactics by attrition, try to overwhelm and overpower. But you know what? Donald Trump is not like any other president that's ever existed. And I'm not going to let this happen. He's not going to let these things... That would be a disaster, and he knows it. He's 10 steps ahead of them, too. And I'm glad they brought the agents in. Even though, you know, they see some footage of the agents that's starting to get harassed. These guys are protecting everybody. And they're doing it. They're not getting anything extra for this. But the agents are going to get their pay. It's all coming to them.
Yeah, but you know, but they're going to get paid, but they've been missing rent payments, mortgage payments, and car payments, and other sufferings. I mean, so their credits dinged. Who knows? They may be facing evictions or repos and all kinds of problems.
Terrible. Yeah. So and Trump will get to this. You know, it's something that can't happen overnight. We know that Donald Trump is doing everything he can to make this work for the Americans, for everybody. He knows what's happening. He has a 40,000-foot view of everything, things that we don't even have the first idea about.
Exactly. And by the way, how did with this drone thing at the airport, how did the federal investigators determine so quickly nothing to see here? What kind of if that's true, why are military helicopters, been flying over all day afterwards? If it was just a plane off course and not a drone, why did they have the low-flying military military helicopters flying around the area all day? I've never seen military helicopters flying around like that ever down here.
Well, these investigators know a lot more than they're trying to let us know, because it's pretty sketchy to me.
To me, it doesn't sound like an investigation. It sounds like they're trying to cover up.
Sounds more like that. Exactly. You said it perfectly. It sounds like more of a cover-up than an investigation. And you know what? That's not the standard that we we want. That's not the standard that President Trump wants, and it's going to change. And you know what? I'm sure he sees it. You see it, and you know what? Things are going to change. It's just we have to look more into this. Everybody has to look more into this.
Absolutely.
It will happen, I think, though.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, good to talk to you, and it's good to be back. Thanks so much, guys. So got a little more information, a little more detail on this special election going on here. I think they're going to have to throw out that election and have a new one. A Palm Beach, a little more details. A Palm Beach, it's because it's a developing story. A Palm Beach elections office volunteer just got arrested for stealing an encrypted access key and computer equipment in the March 24th special election where the Democrat won by 800 votes. Do you think this election volunteer is a Republican or a Democrat? This is the district that includes Mar-a-Lago. Investigators worry that the encryption used for training could be reverse engineered to tamper with voter registration. The theft was reported on March 27th, a few days after last Tuesday's special election, per WPTV. That's the local Palm Beach news affiliate. I watch them all the time. The theft occurred on March 19th, just days before the election. During the search of the volunteer's home, detectives recovered the stolen items, along with a substantial amount of electronic and digital storage devices. He was transported to the Palm Beach County Jail and booked on charges. And then right here at the end, it's happening in Florida. If it's happening in Florida, it's happening everywhere. No doubt about it. And, with both of these stories, you see how the media react to these stories. The Mar-a-Lago airport incident today, this election story. Okay, that story there, it hasn't gotten too much play yet, but it's already starting. Hold on one second, guys. I want to pull up some audio to play for you guys. Hold on. Okay. Thank you. Okay, hold on there. We'll get to that in just a minute. Okay. So the stories immediately, the media don't go into asking questions. They go into PR mode to cover them up, right? Like I told you, immediately the media starts saying, and the Secret. Am I the only one who doesn't trust the Secret Service? Come on. They immediately want to tell you nothing to see here at the airport. With this election volunteer that was arrested with stolen encryption keys and computers from the election supervisor's office for the office that handles the election where last Tuesday where the Democrat won in the Mar-a-Lago district, they're trying to tell you, oh, it was just training stuff, nothing to see, nothing to worry here. You notice how there's a theme with the media. No matter what happens, nothing to see here, nothing to see, nothing happened. Every single story, just time and time again. Okay, so Kristen Welker on Meet the Press interviewed Langford. He's the Republican senator from Oklahoma, I believe, correct? All right, here she is today. Listen.
For being here, I want to start off by talking about the war with Iran, Senator. President Trump continues to insist that the United States is winning. Take a listen to a little bit of what he had.
Okay, now let me ask you a question before we play this. Kristen Welker on NBC's Meet the Press. Here's my question. Does Kristen Welker of NBC News' Meet the Press want the United States to win the war or Iran to win the war? Which side do you think she's rooting for? Does she want the United States to win the war, which would be a Trump victory too, or does she want Iran to win the war? What do you think?
Had to say this week.
Let me say it, we've won. You never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over. Mm-hmm. But we won. I think we've won. We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force. We've knocked out their anti-aircraft. We've knocked out everything. This war has been won.
Senator Langford, do you agree with President Trump that the United States has in fact won the war?
We are won or winning. There is no question about that. The major features of this was to be able to stop their production of ballistic missiles, of one-way attack drones, to be able to take out their capability to attack Americans and our allies in the region, to be able to stop their nuclear program development, to be able to halt that, and then to be able to try to take down their Navy so that they can't endlessly shut down the Strait of Hormuz over and over again. Obviously, there is still work to be done. It's not over by any means. But if you want to talk about the military objectives, just about every one of those objectives have been hit and have been hit early.
Well,
Sorry to tell you that, Kristen Welker. What is it with the media? They don't even hide it anymore. They used to try to hide their biases, but they don't do it anymore. Let's see what her response is to that.
Let's unpack that a little bit, and let's start with the regime that is in power, because, of course, the supreme
Does she
leader
have enough makeup
was
on?
killed. It's believed his son has taken over, and arguably more hardline than his father even.
See what I mean? See what she's doing here? You see, she had smile. She was smiling. Would Kristen Welker? Let me rewind this part. She's talking about the son, who we haven't seen, that she's saying has taken over. She's describing this as a defeat of the United States and a victory to Iran because the son's more hardline than Daddy was. Daddy Ayatollah, right? So she's declaring Iranian victory and also giving aid, comfort, and hope to our enemy in a time of a very hot war, Kristen Welker.
But if you want to talk about the military objectives, just about every one of those objectives have been hit and have been hit early.
Well, let's unpack that a little bit, and let's start with the regime that is in power, because, of course, the supreme leader was killed. It's believed his son has taken over, and arguably more hardline than his father even was. Is it a victory for the U.S. if the war ends with this regime still in power, Senator?
Well, to be clear, we've yet to see the new supreme leader anywhere in public or to make any kind of public statement, so we're not sure 100% about that yet. But the administration's focus has been very clear. This has been about taking out their nuclear program, stopping their terrorism, their ballistic missile program, and reopening the Strait of Hormuz permanently. We're going to have to work with whatever leader is there. Iran is not going to bring in Thomas Jefferson to be able to lead Iran, though it'd be great to be able to see that for the people of Iran to be able to have that kind of freedom. It will be a different type of regime than what we would select here in America, but it will be important for us to be able to have at least someone who's not trying to kill us every day. Remembering that for 40...
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice, Kristen Welker? They got drones at the airport at Mar-a-Lago, okay? Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have them trying to do that all the time? Now, you know, and one thing I often point out with her, because I think she's an Obama person. Now, remember, I've told you this many times, very important for context. Kristen Welker and her parents stayed the night on Christmas Eve and spent Christmas morning with Barack Hussein Obama and his wife, Michelle Obama, on Christmas morning when they had little kids at the White House. So she's very connected, not just with President Obama and these top Democrats. It's the president that gave the Iranians all this money that they have used to buy weapons that they're killing Americans with in the war.
7 years, this regime has been attacking Americans at every opportunity they can possibly get, whether it's Marine barracks in Lebanon, whether it's Houthis attacking just ships randomly coming across their coast. Iran has been focused on trying to be able to carry out their acts of terrorism. Every base that we have in the region there is a base there because of the threat of Iran.
That's right.
This is not a new threat. This has been a threat for almost
Kristen Welker thinks Trump and the U.S. are the threat, not Iran.
Decades now, and President Trump has just determined it's going to stop. You're going to stop trying to threaten and kill Americans.
Let's talk about the missile program. You raised that. Reuters is reporting that the U.S. can only confirm the destruction of about a third of Iran's missile arsenal, which is...
See again? Giving aid, comfort, hope to the enemy, Iran. She's basically Tokyo Rose here. She's giving us, Reuters, you can't trust Reuters. She's giving us information, well, giving us propaganda that the Iranians are throwing out there, that they've barely been dented. They still have all these missiles.
Significantly less than the 90% or more that the administration says that it's destroyed. Do you think it's a victory if the war ends with less than 100% of Iran's missile program destroyed?
Yeah, there's a difference between the missiles and the missile launchers. We've been actively going after missile launchers. You can't launch a missile if you don't have the launcher itself.
Exactly.
So the focus from the administration from the very beginning is, yes, taking out their production capability.
I like Langford. He's doing a good job. Yeah, we've been targeting the launchers You can have 10 million missiles, but if you don't have the launchers, you can't do anything with them.
Ability for missiles and all of their industrial infrastructure for that, but taking out one by one the launchers so they can't actually launch these missiles at us and our allies.
As you know, there's a lot of discussion, Senator, about what exactly is going to happen next. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that he believes it is possible to meet all of the military objectives without putting U.S. boots on the ground. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, it's hard to be able to tell. We should be able to do that for what the American objectives were and still remain. That is taking out their nuclear program, stopping the terrorist threats on it, and reopening the Strait of Hormuz on it. But I would tell you the president's actually bringing ground troops. He's got 5,000 Marines coming in. He has the folks from the 82nd Airborne. He is creating contingencies to put pressure on Iran to be able to finish the negotiation, to say we are capable of doing more and doing what the United States military alone in the world can actually do. So I don't fault the president for being able to put additional pressure on Iran, saying come to the table, let's get this done. No one wants a war.
Exactly.
And you certainly don't want to battle against the United States of America, the strongest, most moral fighting force in the world. So I think the president's right to be able to put troops in the area and to be able to ratchet up the pressure on Iran to make a deal.
Well, let me follow up with you on that point. The Wall Street Journal announcing they could be preparing some 10,000 troops to be deployed to the region. Would you support the president putting U.S. boots on the ground in Iran, Senator?
Well, that is a different story. We've got to be able to know what the objectives are and what they're actually carrying out. So to be very clear on this, the worst thing that can happen is to be able to have this kind of conflict start and to not end it, to leave it undone. We've got to be able to finish this. Again, almost 5 decades, Iran has been attacking Americans at every single chance that they have at any moment through their allies in the region, through all these terrorist proxies that they have in Iraq, and all the way through Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. They're going to continue to be able to come after us until we make them stop. The focus here is to be able to stop them from attacking us and to make sure it does not restart again.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have to tell you directly and personally.
Okay, see what happens. It's like what happened with the president when they posted that. Another video just pops right up. I don't even know what that is. All right, but you see the theme from Kristen Welker there, and it's a common theme with Democrats. They're rooting for Iran. They want America to lose, and they don't care what that American loss is in their mind, because the Democrats. It's like with that election. I told you it's not that they're into winning. They're into Donald Trump losing, right? And if Donald Trump's losing, he's the president of the United States. America's losing. All right, this is my first show back from the cruise. I woke up this morning in my cabin as we were sailing into Miami. It's my first show back. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take a quick break and be right back. I got more to share. Don't go anywhere.
We're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Hank from Hollywood. How you doing?
All right, Hank. What's on your mind?
I called Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. He sent out Scott. Now, Scott is absolutely the best. Scott and Scott's crew are the absolute best. They gave me a great price. They did the job when they said they were going to do it. They finished the job when they said they were going to do it. The materials they used, absolutely the best. I want to thank Tom. I definitely want to thank Scott, and definitely want to thank Scott's crew. These people are number one, and I just want your listeners to know, Tom Laporta at Tom Laporta Roofing. If you need a new roof, call Tom at Tom Laporta Roofing. You're not going to go wrong. You're not going to be disappointed.
Do what Hank did. Call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing on his cell phone, 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, laportaroofing.com. Have you ever wondered if the legends were never just legends? The latest book from author Martin Thomas, Mythical Monsters, Sunken Continents, and Aliens, is a fascinating exploration into the mysteries whispered through folklore, eyewitness accounts, and history's unanswered questions. Are reptilian beings hidden deep beneath the earth? Are ghosts really echoes from the past? Or something far stranger? What about sea monsters, lost continents like Atlantis, and the possibility that ancient visitors helped shape human civilization? sensation. Mythical monsters, sunken continents, and aliens doesn't spoil the mystery, it opens the door. If you love the unexplained, the mysterious, and the stories that make you think, what if? You won't be able to put this book down until the very last page. Discover the legends, question the truth, decide for yourself. Order your copy of Mythical Monsters, Sunken Continents, and Aliens from author Martin Thomas on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com, because sometimes the strangest stories are the ones closest to reality. Seattle pet parents, give your boo a home away from home. Paul Boo offers cozy in-home boarding, a fully fenced green grass yard, private trail walks, and yes, your pet can sleep over with them too. Located in South Beacon Hill by Othello Station. Get 20% off your first stay at happypaulboo.com. That's happypaulboo.com.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. First show back from the cruise. And man, oh man, do we have a great time, great time. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brother Brian, how you be? Nice to have you back. Missed you guys, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm rested and had a great time.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, Brian is not going to be able to stay away from being on air because it's in your blood. But you took 3 days off, so I can't wait to see the video that you're going to put out about the trip and the swimming and snorkeling. Kristen Walker.
Kristen Welker.
I don't even Walker. Right now, I can't even say her name because I'm so fed up with her. I mean, this person is on air making millions of dollars with no talent, no real skills. Anyone can go out and read paper. But what's really interesting is that you're going to get a lot of calls probably this week about no new wars again. You're going to have to go over those conversations over and over again.
Yeah.
It says never-ending wars, not just new wars. And we are at that apex now. When I said that when they have troops on the ground, I don't like the term boots on the ground, but when they have troops on the ground, because we have to secure the facilities and make sure that this oil is going out for the rest of the world that we don't even need, which is good for getting rid of NATO to let them know who's the real boss.
That's right.
We're not going to deal with NATO anymore. They're out the door. Okay, so we have to secure that area not only for our good but for the world's good and to get rid of this virus that I've been talking about, this mold, this cancer on the world has been around all these years.
Exactly.
So we are at that apex, and now the media is going to run with this, troops on the ground. He said no new wars, but we have a memory, people. Mm-hmm. We have a memory. They ask questions as if they didn't have the answers from all the, they are decimated. Of course, they cannot launch rockets without rocket launchers. You cannot have one rocket launcher for each rocket. It doesn't make sense.
It's like having rockets without rocket launchers is like having bullets without a gun. What good are the bullets?
And it's like having a slingshot without the rubber band. You can have the rocket and the slingshot made without the rubber band, and how you pull it back, how you let it go. Okay, it's the same thing. So that's my point I wanted to say today. But it's good to have you back. And I cannot stand Kristen Walker for the money that she makes with no talent and have no follow-up, no way of thinking outside of what she's looking down on the paper.
What Kristen Welker at Meet the Press is like, she's like Tucker Carlson. She's giving the Iranian viewpoint.
To me, when I hear her, honestly, what prompted me to really call you is when I hear her, you always talked about Pravda. You always talked about Pravda. Like she's like, this is like our communists right in our country, right in our faces, when they're communists, looking right at us, lying right to our faces. And what came to my mind was Pravda that you always talked about. You have to tell the people what Pravda is and so forth.
Yeah.
But nice to have you back, and maybe I'll call in tomorrow and see what the conversation's going on, okay?
Sounds good. All right, take care, IB. You take care. Yeah, it's good to be back. Now, this hat I'm wearing, this is a brand new hat, and it was actually on our first night we had a get-together, and it was presented to me by a really good guy, Brad. He goes on our MAGA cruises. He's California MAGA, and this is a 47 hat for Trump, and it's put out by Turning Point USA, and I love this hat. I didn't wear it on the cruise too much. It's a beautiful hat. Because, you go outside on the cruise ship, there's a lot of wind, and I didn't want this wind to end up in the ocean, or this hat to end up in the ocean, so I didn't wear it too much. But, I wore on the cruise my MAGA gear all week, and I could not believe how many people came up to me. Even, by the way, I wore my MAGA gear when we were in the British Virgin Islands. 2 days ago, we were in the Dominican Republic. I wore all my MAGA gear in the Dominican Republic and everything. And we also were in San Juan, Puerto Rico, the home of Bad Bunny. Well, I spent the entire day walking the streets of San Juan, Puerto Rico wearing MAGA gear, okay? I didn't get one negative comment. They love Trump in all of these great countries. Got compliments. And I encountered people all week long. I love your hat, love your shirt, just all kinds of great things. But one thing I noticed, because it's spring break time for the college kids, so there were some college age kids on the cruise ship, and college girls were coming up to me, love your hat, love your shirt, So like the college kids are MAGA, and our group met. I was wearing this first night where our group's together on the cruise, and we went to some party in a nightclub, and I was wearing my Charlie Kirk hoodie, my Charlie Kirk Freedom hoodie. And a girl came up to me and said, I really like your hoodie. And she said, thank you for wearing that. I thought that was interesting. So she started hanging out with our group. She is the president of the Turning Point USA chapter at UCLA, and she was on the cruise with her parents. So Charlie lives on, and MAGA is doing incredibly well. Now, I saw this video, the Curtis Sliwa video, that's going pretty viral. Have any of you guys seen this? This guy, he's a real piece of work, and what he did is incredibly disgusting. I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to get into what Curtis Sliwa did. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. It's the Brian Craig Show. First show back from our MAGA cruise. We'll be back right after this.
There are stories the media talks about, and then there are stories they never fully explain. Jeffrey Epstein is one of those stories. You know the name, you know the headlines, but do you really know how it all worked? From cybersecurity expert and author Cody Churchwell comes a serious, fact-driven investigation at how Epstein built his operation, who enabled it, and how the system failed the victims. And he's released the results of that research in his book, TEI, The Epstein Investigation, available on Amazon. TEI doesn't deal in rumors. It deals in documented facts, court filings, financial records, and the real timeline behind one of the biggest scandals of our time. How did it happen? Who looked the other way? And how did power and influence protect one man for so long? Find out when you read TEI, The Epstein Investigation. If you're someone who believes the truth matters more than narratives, this is your next must-read book. Order your copy right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and free with Kindle Unlimited. The real story isn't what you saw in the news. It's in TEI, The Epstein Investigation, from author Cody Churchwell. On Amazon, share the link to the book on all your social media so your friends can read it too. TEI, from author Cody Churchwell, on Amazon.
On the line, we have Frank. He's a listener, and he's a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. Frank, welcome. So, Frank, could you tell me how Jupiter Joe Thomas helped you?
What he's advertising today and putting out there is a fantastic product for people like me, and there's millions of people like me that want a good sound investment, and they want a good sound, caring, loving investment advisor, and that's Jupiter Joe. He's in the business for like 30 years, and he knows his business. Him and his family make you feel so comfortable. You sit down, and he gives you a real full analysis of what's going on and what he has to offer. And I got into these income streams, these streaming products, and I jumped on it right away. And when he told me what I'm going to get, and I'm getting it right now, and on one of them, I was amazed. He doubled what this other so-called investment advisor was offering me, and I'm jumping for joy.
Do what Frank did. Call Jupiter Joe Thomas right now. Schedule your no-charge consultation. Talk to Joe Thomas about annuities and be guaranteed income every month for the rest of your life. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online, JupiterJoe.com. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Welcome back, everyone. And first show back from the cruise, having a great time. And, of course, I'll be live tomorrow morning, so keep an eye on that. Subscribe if you're new on whatever platform you're listening on. And, of course, if you guys could like the video. Liking the video helps grow the channel so much, guys. So please like the video. And, you know, what happens when you like the video, you get the video recommended to people who have not yet found the channel. And so liking the video is so, so important. And if you, after you like the video, if you see that hype function pop up, if you could do that too, that'd be really great. Okay. So Curtis Sliwa, this is a recent video. This is him wearing his red beret. And, you know, when I was a little kid, you know, in the 80s and stuff, Curtis Sliwa was like super cool dude. You know, he was viewed as a crime-fighting vigilante, making the streets of New York safe. And when Curtis Sliwa, I think that's a good name for him, Curtis Sliwa, when he was running around with the Guardian Angels, the crime was pretty bad in New York, worse than anything. And he ran for mayor, and he split the vote. And, of course, that resulted in Mamdani being elected. Now, remember, Curtis Sliwa is a Republican. And a lot of Republicans voted for Curtis Sliwa here because they're Republicans. And I was talking at the time, you know, is he really? You know, he's walking around, old man with his red beret. The reason he wears the red beret is so people recognize him. If Curtis Sliwa doesn't have the red beret on, people don't recognize him. So he's got to wear that so people know who he is all the time. But if it were not for Curtis Sliwa, Mamdani most likely would not be the mayor of New York City right now, but he is. And I talked about it. I said, who's he working for? Is he working for the Republicans? Is he working for the city of New York? Is he working for the people of New York? Does he stand on principles? Or is he working to help Mamdani get elected? And he made a video that they bill as a comedy video with Mamdani. And this video, I just saw this for the first time today. He's sitting around making unfunny comedy movies with Mamdani. So who's Curtis Sliwa really looking out for? You know, I told you guys, you can't trust this guy. I don't know what his real political beliefs are, but I don't even know if Curtis Sliwa has political viewpoints. I think he's just a narcissist who's trying to reclaim his former glory and fame all the time. He's like a washed-up has-been. And this video with him and Mamdani, it really tells you where Curtis Sliwa is coming from, and it's not from a good place. So, you know, I wouldn't sit down and make a comedy video with Curtis or with Mamdani. Now, I might interview Mamdani, but I'd ask him some questions, okay? But it wouldn't be sitting around yucking it up with him like this. Oh my goodness, I tell you, I hope this goes like really viral, so the people of New York will know what he is all about, right? Curtis Sliwa is all about Curtis Sliwa and no one else. Well, you know, Candace Owens never misses an opportunity to show you what an insane, crazy person she is these days. It's really sad. You know, there's a video of her. You may have seen it. I saw it last week when I was on the cruise. You may have seen that they say they're a comedian. I didn't find it funny, but this so-called comedian went out in whiteface and did made a disgusting movie about Erica Kirk, which I'm not going to show it to you. You can go find it on your own. I'm not going to show it. And not only made fun of Erica Kirk and said disgusting things, also said disgusting things about Christians, Jesus in particular. And Candace Owens dropped a video last week of her, like a reaction video of her watching the video. And she was smiling and happy and grinning from ear to ear watching this disgusting video, not just making fun of Erica Kirk, but making fun of Christians, Christianity, and Jesus. And Candace is always on this soapbox of, you know, she's the true Christian and this and that. And if you've seen the video, you really get to see her full crazy on. And she says, this is how everyone feels. This is what everyone's thinking. No, it's what you feel. It's what you're thinking, Candace Owens. But some time ago, she went off into an area of Holocaust denial. And you've heard me reference this. I played it at the time, but I wanted to play it for you again because, you know, when you hear her talk about war for Israel and, you know, President Trump works for Israel and he's, you know, and all this stuff, those things are coming from the mind of a Holocaust denier. Listen to this.
On innocent people, Candace. Come on, that's the difference. They experimented on twins. I mean, some of the stories, by the way, sound completely absurd. I mean, like the idea that they just like cut a human up and then sewed them back together.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Literally, even if you're the most evil person in the world, that's a tremendous waste of time and supplies. Just slice a person in half and sew them together. That just sounds like bizarre propaganda.
No, they did all those sick things because they were Nazis. That's what Nazis did. So whenever you hear Candace Owens say that Trump's controlled by Israel or any of her usual rants, remember, that's not analysis. Those are things that are being said by a Holocaust denier, okay? A Holocaust denier. Now, I wanted to share this. The No Kings, well, let me get to this one first because the other one, this is Bruce Springsteen with Jane Fonda. And I guess they're in the VIP area, very fancy area of a No Kings March or something. I don't know where they are, but listen.
Guess where we are? Guess who's here? No Kings. Do it.
No Kings. Yeah, we agree with that. No Kings. It's America. That's where America was, you know, the revolution was fought over no more kings. And we got rid of the kings. I don't know why they think that was news in 1774, you know. No more kings. 17. But in 2026, we want to talk about news. This one really breaks my heart, though. Jamie Lee Curtis, because I like Jamie Lee Curtis. I love Halloween. My wife and I watch Halloween every year, and when she did those updates recently, we saw the first one. It was good, and I've always liked her. She was in True Lies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He turned out to be another creep too. But this is Jamie Lee Curtis. She's up early in the morning, getting ready to go to the No Kings event in her neighborhood.
Good morning, everyone. It's Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm enjoying my coffee before heading to the march because today is a great day to celebrate democracy. We have to fight for the right to party. And I don't mean the political party because I don't really care which political party you believe in, as long as you believe in the Constitution and the fundamental freedoms that the Constitution protects. And I'm very proud to be a board member of People for the American Way, and they have created this fantastic, The Art of Saving Democracy, an action kit for making change. Go to peoplefortheamericanway.org. Come out and march because that's why you're an American. You have the right to say what you think and feel. So join other people who are feeling the same way, and let's go. LFG. Peace.
Yeah, peace. Yeah, okay. You know, People for the American Way, I have not heard from the People for the American Way in a long time. I didn't even know they still existed. And when I was in college, People for the American Way actually came to my class in one of my education classes and made a presentation. They had like a lesson. And when I went to school, you guys, you know, I went to college and have a degree in history, but I had a minor in education. So I have a degree in history, but I was also studying on how to be a history and social studies teacher. So I had this one class. It was a class on learning how to teach social studies. And the professor was a German professor. And, of course, her family lived through World War II, but they were in the German resistance, of course. They weren't Nazis. She made sure she told you that. What really, the German resistance? Give me a break. Give me a break. No. Where's this? Where was this resistance? But anyway, she brought someone in from People for the American Way, and they did this lesson, and they came in with this big bag of candy. And then they separated everybody in the class into different groups. And each class was a different country or continent. I mean, each group was either a country or a continent. One group was Africa. One group was Europe. One group was China. One group was the United States. And there were a couple others. I don't remember what they were. It's been a long time. And then she gave out candy to each group. And some groups got more candy than others. And the group that got the most candy was the United States. And she didn't tell us what was going on. The United States had the most candy. Every country or continent had candy, but the United States had the most candy. Lesson plan, People for the American Way. What do you think the candy represented? I'll tell you in a second. What do you think the candy represented? The United States had the most candy in the world. This was a lesson plan from Jamie Lee Curtis's People for the American Way. What do you think it represented? Money? What do you think? Military? The candy represented garbage and waste. And the United States produced the most garbage, pollution, and waste in the world. So they told us in this lesson plan. Can you believe this? So People for the American Way, the Jamie Lee Curtis, they're an anti-American communist organization. I thought they were defunct. I don't know. Did they make a comeback? I've not heard from them in many years. Yeah. All right. So Tucker Carlson, he had this woman on, and she gave him some information that he wasn't expecting.
Did you make any converts in Palestine ever? Did you ever see Muslims converting to Christianity?
You have to be careful with it, but I will say that I don't know those Muslims that have converted to Christianity, but it's not something you can do openly. Not that they're going to be killed, but it won't be looked upon well, and it's not easy to do.
Is it legal? To proselytize?
In Palestine?
Yeah.
You can talk to me. I guess it doesn't, the interesting thing is I'm Orthodox. And in Orthodoxy, we aren't really a proselytizing faith. It's a faith that becomes of what you are and how you live. You know what I mean? It says you don't actively do missionary work in a lot of cases.
Yeah, okay. So, if you can be a Christian, but you can't talk about it. This is the society that he's representing. You can be a Christian, but you can't talk about it. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. These are the people you are promoting, Tucker Carlson. I wonder if the mustache is a disguise. I don't know. Tucker. Tucker, Candace has totally destroyed her credibility. And Tucker is on the verge of that now. He's built up a following of psychos, but he'll eventually go over the line and be exposed, like Candace has done on a couple of occasions, and things she's never going to recover from with her reputation. Here's the great Stephen Miller, Deputy Chief of Staff and Senior Advisor to our favorite president, Donald Trump.
Minnesotan who works as a lineman or works as a construction worker, works in any job that requires hard work, dedication, focus, who's worried about his ability to support for and provide his family. And then imagine that he has a neighbor who's a Somali refugee who arrived 2 years ago and has a Mercedes and no financial stress and no worries at all in the entire world and never seems to ever go to work at all because he just went to an office in the state, lied on a piece of paper, and got unlimited free money forever for life. That is the system that is being run. And that is the corruption that this task force, under the leadership of the vice president, is going to demolish.
Yeah, the Somali pirates of Minnesota. I ran into these two guys. They were talking to me the other night on the cruise ship. They weren't with our group, but they started talking to me because I had on the MAGA gear, and they were both from Minnesota. And they're MAGA. They love Trump. They're in Minnesota. So first thing I said to them, I said, "Hey," I said, "do you guys have Leering centers?" And they started laughing. Like, no, we actually have to work. We're not Somali. But, he's right. What the Democrats are doing. And this No Kings event over the weekend. Let me pull this clip up. I wanted to share this particular clip. I wanted to play it with that one. I have so much to cover. And I'll be pretty busy on the morning show tomorrow. I will be back live on the air tomorrow. I'm not able to. There was one particular clip I was looking for. I cannot find it. I know. Let me look. If I don't find it real quick, I'll just I'll play it tomorrow on the program. But I wanted to play it with that particular one, and oh well, I can't find it. Well, anyway, I'll play it tomorrow for you guys. But you know, this No Kings event that they're making such a big thing about it. Is this their third time they've gone to the well with it? This No Kings, you know, and it really cracks me up that they think that they are accomplishing something. They're not accomplishing anything. I mean, they get together with their friends, you know, and they feel like they've done something, but no, they haven't accomplished anything at all. And other than discredit themselves, I can't find that particular clip. Okay, I'll just wait until and play it. I'll play it for you guys tomorrow. But I got a couple others I wanted to share with you. This guy here is one that I really get upset with because he did some things that I used to like to watch. And I'm talking about Robert De Niro. And, you know, De Niro, he's one of these celebrities who put out a No Kings video. You know, De Niro, there's a couple of De Niro movies I really like, and I can't watch them anymore. The one in particular is Heat. I mentioned this a lot. I used to love Heat. I watched that movie all the time. I used to own it on DVD, and there was a new Michael Mann Director's Cut edition that I saw that was streaming on Tubi or Freevee or one of those. And I started watching it. I couldn't get into it because De Niro, he's just totally destroyed everything. You know, you watch him and he takes you out of the escape of the film, right? And he used to be he's always been an arrogant guy, but he used to be so snooty. He wouldn't do television interviews for years and years and years because television was beneath him. Well, look at how low he's gone now, right? He's doing these little videos for these creeps at No Kings. And he talks about how he starts his day. Now, Robert De Niro, at one time, I always thought he was kind of overrated, but Robert De Niro was considered one of the great American actors. And he has that hard to believe. And you would think someone that has so much critical acclaim and fame and success in their industry, they'd wake up in the morning, they'd have a great life. Not Robert De Niro. Listen to how his mornings are.
Every morning when I get up, I reach for my phone to look at the headlines of the day. And for some time now, I start every morning depressed about the latest outrage from our would-be king. I mean, it's amazing. Every fucking day, there's something new and crazy. But it's different on this day because all over the country, in cities and towns and factories and on farms, north, south, east, west, millions of us are coming together to declare no kings. It is indeed a beautiful, hopeful day in the United States of America. And you, Minnesota, are at the epicenter.
Yes.
It is your courage and your commitment that have inspired all of us. You have shown the power of nonviolent protest. You have shown bravery in the face of armed attack by government thugs. And you stood together and ran them out of town. Toast yourselves, pat yourselves on the back, take a bow. But don't take a break. Because today and everything that has gone before is just a start, a rehearsal for the big show that's coming. You know the arrogant would-be king is absolutely scared to death about losing his power and will do everything he can to hold on to it without regard to legality, morality, humanity, nothing. We will face greater challenges down the road. For everything you've done, thank you. And now expect to be asked to do more. I know you will answer the call. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness. How pathetic. You know, he doesn't wake up with his family, doing something with his kids, grandkids or something. You know, when someone is this nasty, how nasty do you think they are when there's no one around but their, like, family, right? So he wakes up alone. I mean, this is worse than Rosie O'Donnell, Robert De Niro. What a wasted life. What a miserable life. He wakes up. His Trump derangement syndrome is so severe. De Niro is telling us that he wakes up every day going through the news looking for something to hate about Trump. That's basically what he's telling us, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, that's his normal day. Now, we really got lucky that Tim Walz did not
Trisha
become,
Heaton looks great at 67.
Our
Here is her
president,
number one
because
secret.
he's,
Regular
he's
milk
a real
or
bad
oat
dude.
milk?
Oh, regular milk.
And a lot of the No Kings seem to have focused out of Minnesota, I guess, because they had that Minneapolis rebellion that they're declaring a victory on. I don't know what they're talking about. I mean, we got all those illegals out of there and everything else. But and the Somali pirates are being exposed, and J.D. Vance is in charge of making sure justice is done there now, and you know he wants to get to the bottom of it and get some arrests going because he plans on running for president, and he needs to have some accomplishments for that. But this is Tim Walz yesterday at the No Kings talking about the Somali pirates of Minneapolis.
And I will add a special thank you and a special acknowledgement that we will never leave the side of our Somali Minnesotans.
Really? No matter how many billions they steal, that's okay with you? You're going to stand by thieves that are involved in it's the largest financial crime in U.S. history. You're standing by that? I thought billionaires and millionaires were bad people.
Here's our pledge to you. Our Somali Minnesotans.
Doesn't his wife look like E. Jean Carroll, by the way? Look. Yeah, she does. She's I don't know, maybe she's got the same hair and makeup and clothes. She was trying to look like E. Jean Carroll. She's the one who loved the smell of burning tires that BLM and Antifa were burning in Minneapolis. Remember that?
Your great-grandchildren will still be here when that orange clown is in the dustbin of history. You will be here.
You know, when he says all that stuff there at the end, he gets physically angry at that, doesn't he? When he says that, he's very unstable. You know, Jane Fonda, I played that video of her. I saw a trailer for a movie that she's in, and she's got this new movie. She's like the second lead in it. It's the main actress in it is I don't know the name of the actress, but she's in the Hunger Game movies. She's the woman that picks the names out of the jar in the Hunger Games, right? You know what I'm talking about? What's her name in the Hunger Games? Effie? You know what I'm talking about? She's all made up, fancy. And Jane Fonda is in this movie, and the movie takes place before Roe v. Wade. And the main actress, she got pregnant, and it's going to mess up her career. She wants an abortion. They won't give her an abortion because Roe v. Wade hasn't passed yet. She's denied an abortion, and she finds a number. I saw this trailer, and I feel like I've seen the whole movie because they told us everything in the trailer. She found a phone number on a mailbox. Call Jane, and she calls the number, and she ends up at this house where women take you to get illegal abortions, and Jamie Lee Curtis is running the house. And of course, and she's the big heroine of the movie. Her and Jamie Lee Curtis and everything. This movie is so out of date and so dated, and that's where Jane Fonda's head is at. But Jane Fonda, she should have stuck to the acting. So I'm back, obviously, from the cruise. The schedule is going to be, I'll be back because I'm going to be back at work tomorrow. If you missed the beginning of the program, I covered, if you're watching live on YouTube, I covered everything that's going on with drones, planes flying over Air Force One at Palm Beach International Airport today. I went through all of that. So rewind the program and watch that. I break it down and give you what's really going on. Now, if you'd like to join my Insider Club, that, of course, is on Patreon. And if you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to exclusive live streams available only to Patreon supporters, okay? There's a link to my Patreon in the description of whatever platform you're listening to me on, okay? So if you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to all of that. There's a link in the description, as well as commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes, okay? So check that out. Become a Patreon supporter. And if you're new, subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And those of you that are subscribed, please like the video, okay? Liking the video really helps grow the channel a lot on YouTube. If you're listening to the audio podcast on one of the podcast platforms, please follow or subscribe. That has the same effect as liking and subscribing on YouTube. So guys, make sure you like, subscribe, follow. It's always free to do, and help me get the word out to new people about this program. You know, I was telling you I was wearing my MAGA gear all week on the cruise, and we went to this very nice beach resort and spent a day at this beach resort in the Dominican Republic. It was a 5-star beach resort, very upscale. And we went there and spent the day. We had our own little section of the beach, and food and drinks were included. We had a great time and with our MAGA group. But we were just there for a few hours. But it's a resort where people go and stay for like 2 weeks, 10 days, 2 weeks. And people come there from the north, Canada, Michigan, places like that, Europe, all over the world. And I felt for certain, because so many of us had MAGA gear on. It was a sunny day, so we all had hats on, right? All MAGA hats and everything else. Not only did I not get a negative comment, I got nothing but positive comments from people from all over the United States, from blue states, and from all over the world. And other people in the group had the same experience. There was one person in our group was telling me he ran into some guys from Canada, and they wanted, this was just 2 days ago. This was like Thursday. They want Canada to become the 51st state. Can you believe that? Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. You know, because you get this impression from these fake influencers that MAGA's divided and all of these things. Nothing could be further from the truth. And there's one clip I was going to play. I cannot play this on the radio because of the language. But I want to play this. I saw this days ago, so I'm scrolling through. If you follow me on X at Brian Craig Show, you get all of the articles and everything I read, not just the ones I talk about, but the ones that I never get to. And there was one I wanted to play because I can't play it on the radio because of the language, and I want to get your thoughts on it. I don't want to tell you what it is until I can find it. I know I tweeted it the other day. Hold on, let me find this, because I was pretty disappointed in this person, and also a little surprised at what they said. It's hard to believe I was gone for a week, because this week, to me, it flew by like nobody's business. Okay, I might have to do a search, because I know I have it, and I might have just I might have scrolled past it, because I'm scrolling a little fast. Hold on, give me a minute, and I'll find it, because I'm gonna hold on. I was really ticked off about this. There's a lot of these influencers. You hear me talk about them a lot. You think you can you think you can trust them. Watch me have to play this tomorrow. There's so much. I have so many things I want to cover. Hold on. I'll find it. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Okay. This is a clip of Sean Ryan. And he interviewed Joe Kent. And I know a lot of you know Sean Ryan. And Joe Kent is, of course, the leaker. That was, he's under FBI investigation. It was reported 2 weeks ago for leaking information out of the White House. So he goes on Sean Ryan's show. And now I'm not someone that's followed Sean Ryan forever. I mean, I know who he is. I've watched some of his interviews and things like this. But I always assumed that Sean Ryan was a Republican MAGA guy. So he sits down with this Joe Kent creep, and listen to this.
You said for the midterms, I mean, you're going to need a lot of hardcore MAGA people to come out to knock on doors to do that hardcore work. Because working elections, it's not easy, it's not fun, it's not glamorous. The MAGA base, Trump's base, they're hardworking people, and they got them across the finish line. In 26, a lot of them, now it's debatable how much, but a good chunk of them are going to have a really hard time doing that because of the way this last year has gone.
Don't come banging on my fucking door. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear more of those fucking lies.
I hear that from a lot of people. I hear that from a lot of people.
It's everything, Joe. It's everything.
So is Sean Ryan, did he just say he's not going to vote Republican in the midterms? And that Trump's lying about everything? And did Joe Kent get a stylist to look super cool or something? He's kind of wearing clothes that look like they're old and falling apart, but they're the ones that are very expensive that you buy them looking like they're falling apart. But did he just say he's not going to vote Republican, Sean Ryan? Can you trust this guy? Let me play it again, because that's how I took it.
You said for the midterms. I mean, you're going to need a lot of hardcore MAGA people to come out to knock on doors to do that hardcore work. Because working elections, it's not easy, it's not fun, it's not glamorous. The MAGA base, Trump's base, they're hardworking people, and they got them across the finish line. In 26, a lot of them, now it's debatable how much, but a good chunk of them are going to have a really hard time doing that because of the way this last year has gone.
Don't come banging on my fucking door. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear more of those fucking lies.
I hear that from a lot of people. I hear that from a lot of people.
It's everything, Joe. It's everything.
You said.
Yeah, this guy with his set with all of his liquor bottles and everything and special cool lighting and all of that, you know. And we just said he's not going to vote Republican. You know, and let me explain to you what that means. Even if you didn't vote Democrat, but you did not vote Republican, what does that mean? That means you want the president impeached, you want higher taxes, you want the borders reopened, you want abortion, you know, all these things. So many of these so-called conservative influencers and podcasters are complete frauds. They're basically like actors, right? They're hired and funded and put in these positions to further the agenda of whoever is behind them. And you look at Sean Ryan here. I was pretty disappointed in him. You know, I've known who he is for quite some time, but I didn't really watch him or listen to him. And there was an interview a few months ago I saw, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. It was something about the intelligence community. He was interviewing somebody that was a private military contractor in these war zones and was talking about some things. Oh, that's interesting. He's, but now I hear him talk like this. Is he in he's in the same category as Megyn Kelly and Tucker Carlson here? You can't trust these guys. You really can't trust these guys. And the MAGA divide does not exist. MAGA is strong. It's these influencers that have either been influenced by money or fame or a boss, or maybe they were faking it all along, or they're trying to get on some anti-Trump trend. But they are liars. They are frauds. They are not us. They are not one of us. They are not MAGA. And I'll tell you this, they never were. I don't know anyone in my personal life that is MAGA that has left. Do you? No. They're using these podcasters and so-called influencers to try to spread a very false negative that MAGA is divided and people are leaving Trump. That's not the case. They got a handful of people. Sean Ryan's joined the list now. Sean Ryan, Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, although she said she's going to vote Republican, Tucker Carlson, did I say Candace? There's a handful of these guys, Nick Fuentes, who claim to be the true Republicans, the true MAGA, Marjorie Trader Green. Donald Trump is MAGA, right? It's his movement. He's the founder of the MAGA movement. So you can't go around and say Trump's not MAGA, I'm the true MAGA. No, he is the true MAGA. Yeah, Joe Rogan, is out there, trashing Trump now. You can't trust these people. There is no MAGA divide. I'm here to tell you. And I think those of you out there, you know it. All right, guys. Hey, listen, I will see you all in the morning. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you follow and subscribe wherever you are. This is my first show back from our 10th annual MAGA cruise, and I'll see you first thing early tomorrow morning. Take care. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video, and I'll talk to you first thing tomorrow morning.